Hello everyone. Let me sit this way. I'd like to make a video today and talk about some stuff. I think healing is an interesting topic. Healing. What is healing? Recently I heard the description that healing is bringing things back to being whole. So, like in today's world, we kind of grow up here and, well, not in today's world, in the world that we grew up in, we ended up becoming kind of fragmented inside, different parts of us kind of get fractured or whatever because of trauma or, just the unconsciousness of those around us. And we end up becoming fragmented. So I would say healing is a healing of those that fragmented self, and where it's able to be oneself again. And you can take that as deeply or as beyond as you want to being one with everything, is to be fully healed, I guess you could say. Yeah, healing. I think there's a lot of different ways of healing. There's the way the body heals, the energy body, the mental body, emotional body, spiritual body, soul body. And I think a lot of us are going through a lot of deep healing right now. Yeah. And I think on a soul level, there's a lot of integration going on. There's a lot of processing probably of things that are recorded on a soul level, and those things are healing, and a lot of that can be painful because in order to heal stuff, it kind of has to be. So what happens is when, and I'm sure some people know more about this than I do, who are even listening to this, but when there's a severe pain or trauma, the consciousness ends up, because it isn't able to cope with that or process that, how deep the pain is at the time that it happened, it kind of fractures off itself to be healed at a later date, and then it has to simply cope with what it can at the time. And a fully healed person is actually invulnerable to that happening again, because if you're already whole, there's no way for anything to break off a piece of you again, no matter the amount of pain, because you're able to cope fully with the pain as it is occurring. So a fully healed person is essentially healed, they're healed, they're not able, so what I'm saying is true healing is permanent, it isn't something that, you have to, I gotta get stitched up again. No, true healing is something that, is true, is real, is actual. So, on a soul level, I feel like there's a lot of healing going on, very deep healing of things that are not easy to deal with and are not really even understood by limited mind, consciousness. Um, but somewhere inside, we do understand it. Um, and it's okay, obviously, if, you know, you're like, wow, I'm feeling something, and it feels like I know what it is, but I don't, and I just, I know that it's there, and I know I know what I'm feeling, and I can't explain it, but it's real, it's something that happened, or whatever, so if you're going through some of that, yeah, I feel for you, friends, it's difficult, it's, you know, it's, yeah, a lot of this is at a soul level, I think. Matt Kahn said in a video that the next 5 years, and I think this was like a year ago or something that he said this in the video, that the next 5 years would be the process of soul integration. Yeah. And obviously loving yourself, loving your own heart is going to help you through that healing process. Um, being able to sit with yourself. And there's different forms of loving yourself too. Matt Kahn's version is a very simple kind of saying I love yous to your heart, just having your heart there. I love you, I love you, I love you, and yeah, going with that. That's his way of doing it. I think there's really, like, what I find loving for myself is being able to, well, it's not about doing. There's another, I guess I'll just talk about this. This is related to healing, obviously. Loving yourself. Yeah. Teal Swan said in her discovery of self-love, because she wrote a book on self-love, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know about Teal Swan. She's great. She really is. That's what makes her so good, is because of the shit that, the life that she lived, That's what makes her so powerful, Yeah. So, oh yeah, so Teal Swan's idea of self-love was, when she was inquiring about how do you love yourself, what is self-love, what she did is she looked at what do these people do, the people that are love themselves, what is it that they all do in common, and so she kind of went with more of the doing part, the doing, like, oh, someone who's loving themselves, what would they do? Kind of like what would Jesus do, but what would someone who loved himself do, kind of thing. And then just do that and keep doing that. That's kind of her way of doing, of loving yourself, And at the end of the day, there's as many techniques as there are, personalities, I guess. It's not really about, any one way. And I think really coming up with your own way of doing it, that's pretty self-loving, I think, And, yeah. So, on the soul level, a lot of these light workers represent out here have lived many lives, and that comes with the territory of being a light worker, but it also comes with a lot of baggage, to put it in a kind of crude word, a lot of, but you know what I mean, a lot of, feeling like you've learned lessons, and it may have not been easy, and that, I think, being an older soul, that comes with that, and that's a soul level, healing right there of all that stuff, all that stuff, You know, I feel like I was at one life a Reiki healer in Japan, and I not sure the details on that life, but it left a big mark on my soul, I guess I could say. It really and I feel like there's a lot of shame in that lifetime, from that lifetime, and I feel like in order for me to be a Reiki healer in this lifetime, I have to fully process the shame that happened in that lifetime. You know, because I was a Reiki master in that lifetime, but something happened that now I need to go through the healing of that lifetime in order for me to feel proud of being a Reiki healer in this lifetime. You know, and I do feel like that's part of this life for me. I do want to be able to